This is Thrifty and Will back with Thrifty's gaming news podcast, better known as the Playground. For the first little bit, what I like to do is a brief sound check because we have had microphone snafus in the past, and ever since we've been doing a sound check, surprise, surprise, there have been no issues. It's been the damnedest thing. And so we continue to do sound checks and okay, hang on. Yep. And so, yeah, we are going to do that. I am going to give me just a second. You might be hearing me in the background. I am going to just have Will kind of introduce himself, tell you who he is. Why is this still on? There we go. And I am going to have my beautiful bride listen to the stream so she can tell me how it sounds. And so, Will, how in the actual heck are you, man?
I'm good, Thrifty. How are you, man?
Man, I am pretty well. It's been a good week so far. Been on call this week, but it hasn't been too terrible. What games have you been playing?
Man, I've been playing Valiant Hearts Coming Home, which is a sequel to Valiant Hearts. Awesome game for anybody who hasn't played it. It's actually on PlayStation Plus. The first one is. Surprised that the second one came out. It's a very, small. It's not an indie game. It's made by Ubisoft, but it has indie vibe. Like it's super like just the indie vibe. And game came out earlier in the month, and I saw it today, bought it, so started playing that. I've been playing Outcast: A New Beginning. Came out last week Friday. I got the collector's edition for that. I am number what number is it here? 4,470 out of 5,000. So I feel special. And I've been playing Power Wash Simulator, trying to get the platinum in that. The challenges on that game is a pain in the ass, but all I need is one more gold medal to get the platinum. And Far Changing Tides, beat that one a couple times to try to get the platinum. And I got played because there is no platinum.
Oh, shoot.
Yep, pain in the ass. And then on Tuesday, I played about an hour of Hi-Fi Rush, which FYI runs better on the PS5 in case y'all didn't know.
It looks better. I saw some side by side comparisons, and even though like the graphics and the colors look the same, like the shadows, man. There was somebody who on X was pointing out the shadows of him, and I was like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Nelson.
so. It was Nelson. Yeah, it was so much. Like it was so much more crisp, and like when the and even on the scarf, like that's kind of where I keyed in on it. On the end of the scarf, you can actually see the jagged edges of the scarf, but you can also see those same jagged edges on the ground where the shadow is. So I thought that was pretty cool. We all knew though that Xbox games were going to run better on a PS5. Like there's no doubt in my mind, should have been no doubt in anybody else's mind because we have the faster processing system.
Yeah, it's on just surface level, the game looks identical, but once you start to play the game and you pay a little bit of attention to it, you definitely see those little details like the scarf and the shadows. It definitely makes a difference as you play the game. I played the game originally on the Series S actually, and I put in like I didn't even get past the what is it, the training mode on the Series S or whatever that thing's called. Then I got the Series X for Christmas. I got a little bit further in, so I have about, I don't know, 50 minutes in that. And I was just curious. So I had some PlayStation points. I ended up paying like 15 bucks for the game out of pocket. And I've been playing it and it plays better. I don't know if because I like the PlayStation controller better, so it feels better that way. But the game, the DualSense features do make a difference. And I always thought, okay, that's preference, right? You either like the DualSense features or you don't. But then this is the first game that I've been able to actually test this out. And the immersion is way better. It's not even up for discussion. It's just way better. And that's just the immersion aspect of it. Now, comfort, that could be opinion, of course, because you can like the offset sticks or whatever it is. But for feature wise, if you want to play the best version of Hi-Fi Rush, PS5 is the way to go.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I think, like I said earlier, that's going to be the setup going forward. Like any game that comes out for the PlayStation that was already on the Xbox is automatically going to run better. It just will. Like, and for a couple of reasons. Josh said it in chat. It had a year in beta. Like it was beta tested on the Xbox for a year, and then it came out over here. And so like it's almost like back in the day when like you'd have Japanese games that we would only get like a year and a half, 2 years later, and it was like on a great like grand scale. But anyways, so I have confirmation that our sound is good. So let's go ahead and get into the start of the show. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. Right now we have Toolman Will, Michael, Josh, Hero, Byron, and I thought I saw one more, but I didn't. Guys, welcome. Thank y'all for showing up. The thumbnail for the video that's going to go up is the same thumbnail I used on X. Shout out to Warawana for giving me Mark Cerny with 3 full buttons undone, showing the quality at 3 buttons. We're going to be going over what kind of quality he's delivering tonight. And shout out to TCMF. I took 2 of his pictures and I like using his photos, one, because they're really cool, and two, because I have asked his permission and he gave me basically carte blanche to use whatever the heck I wanted. So I absolutely appreciate that. Go check those fine individuals out. Warawana, you can meet up with him in our Discord. He doesn't do X for, you know, very good reasons. So, with that though, tonight's show, I think it's going to be a really good show. We're going to be discussing things like, of course, Dragon's Dogma 2's coming out, Stellar Blade's coming out. We're going to be talking about some of those things. We're going to be talking about Rise of the Ronin. It's got amazing reviews out of the first few that have come in. Like, I'm talking about like 90s, 10 out of 10s, 87s, 88, like really, really good score. So we're going to talk about tonight, is this just hype? Is this going to be a Jedi Survivor type area or type game where it gets 90s across the board and comes out and isn't really what was promised? Or is this real? Is it about to be 3 back-to-back home runs for PlayStation? So
Hold on. Jedi Survivor was what was promised. The issue was the technical parts of it, how well it ran. Those were the issues, but the game was A1.
listen, when you give me a game, the game better run properly. If it doesn't,
No,
it's
you're
not
right.
A1.
I'm just saying that the reviewers, once again, I've heard this a couple times, and I don't. Sorry to kind of jump all over the place right now, but we're in the topic. These reviewers, guys, look, I get it, man. These games cost $70, 50s, all this money, and we want to get opinions, and we all have the guys that we like, and we don't. I understand all that, but at the end of the day, it's like we've been buying games, some of us, for decades. Okay, from the cover art alone, a lot of us can decide if it's something we're interested in. I just do not like, me personally, these how people put so much stock in these reviewers time over time over time over time again. They have said so much about a game, and when it comes out, Jedi Survivor being the perfect example, right? It's not what they told us it was going to be. They straight up lied, but yet for some reason people keep going back to these reviewers, putting stock into what they're saying and making their decisions solely on what they say. Now, if you take them as a grain of salt, fine. That's perfect. But man, putting stock in these reviewers, it's just a sure way to be disappointed, in my opinion.
And so we will definitely dive into that a lot more once we kind of get into there, because there's a few other examples that have happened across gaming uh, that have gone kind of both ways. And so really want to dive into that. Also, as the title suggests, we did get confirmation of the PS5 Pro specs. Not we as in this channel, but we as in the gaming community. Digital Foundry did a great video on it, but they did bring up some issues with the PS Pro CPU and kind of what gamers are expecting versus what we're actually going to get versus what we're just kind of you know overshooting, like, right, are we reaching too far ahead? So we're going to discuss that as well. Horizon Forbidden West has been tested on the PC, and it got wonderful reviews from Digital Foundry, and so gonna kind of dive into that. It looks like Sony and Nixus might have a lockdown on this thing. So it looks like another good port for Nixus and for their software. And I'm sorry, and for their development team. Also, we will be discussing how Xbox is finally getting tired of freeloading Xbox players. And man, it is going to end up being, well, let me pose the question. Is it going to be too little too late? Or is it going to be something that helps turn the ship over at Xbox? Does it let them last and carry them into the next generation of Xbox, or is it too little, too late? And also, really good find by Will tonight. Marvel is releasing a new game. It's going to be released next year, shooting for next year at least, and it's called Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra. And so we will be discussing that. A lot of great topics tonight, a lot of fun stuff to discuss, to talk about. We might get to all of it, we might not, but that is the layout of the show, and that is the goal for tonight. So, with that, guys, welcome to the playground. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are here. I release videos up to the channel, and occasionally we try to sprinkle in some really awesome guests for y'all. And so, welcome. With that, let's dive back in to what we were talking about during the intro a bit with Rise of Ronin, right? Because this game has come out, and oh my lord, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 37 out of 40, 36 out of 40. So, like, this game is literally doing some cool, awesome numbers, okay? And so, with that, up to this point, though, everything that I've seen of the game, everything that I've looked at, everything that I've seen, makes it feel like it's a PS4 Pro kind of quality at best. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to come out and they've done a lot of stuff since the last time I saw the game. But it just didn't look like $70, right? And I know that we can get into, well, graphics don't make a game $70 or not $70, and that's true. And so there are a few things that with the game I kind of expect, but I don't know if this is going to be another Cyberpunk scenario. Maybe not that bad, of course. I don't think any game's going to come out that bad again. Or if it's going to be a Jedi Survivor type issue, or if it's going to be one of the opposites where it's a Hogwarts Legacy that comes out and gets bashed and then goes on to sell way more than what it was anticipated to because it's just a good game. So, Will, you had some pretty passionate thoughts about this type of stuff at the beginning. Do you just want to kind of recap that and maybe springboard off and finish the thought out?
Yeah, so Rise of Ronin have been getting, for the most part, very good. What are they? Previews, I guess, and some are reviews. But and I'll give you an example about this. Last week, I believe it was last week or the week before, Skillup. Some of you guys may know him as Shillup. I know him as Skillup. I like his videos. I think he's funny. I don't agree with everything, and I think he's a bot at the end of the day. But he put out a video that he did not like Rise of Ronin. He just said it wasn't. He basically said it didn't have the fidelity, visual fidelity of Ghost of Tsushima. It didn't have the art style of what's that other Souls game that's a samurai game?
Not
Um,
Bloodborne.
no,
Um,
not Bloodborne.
oh, Sekiro.
Sekiro, and it didn't have the open world features like um Elden Ring, and I'm sorry, not Elden Ring. It didn't have the open world or kind of like the level design as Neo or the combat. So he basically took the last three samurai games that have come out within the last half decade or so, and he tried comparing them to them three. Now, as far as reviewers go, 9 times out of 10, whatever Skill Up recommends, I'm on the opposite side. What he tends to like, I dislike. What he dislikes, I tend to like. But the reason I bring him up is because fidelity, visual fidelity was one of the things that actually a big part of the reason he didn't like the game. And then it seemed like the rest of the things that I just mentioned were secondary. The combat, the world, the story, all these other things were secondary, which to me really took me back because, and I'm just using him as an example, right? Because he's a huge PC gamer and Game Pass lover. And his thing is always gameplay mechanics, right? How the game plays, how the game feels, visuals is second. But for some reason with this game, he wants to bring up the fidelity of the game first. And I've been seeing that a lot on social media. Now, the game to me does look like ass. It looks like beginning of PS4 generation. What I am interested in is in the gameplay mechanic. And you guys all know that I'll play a video game all day at 30 frames per second as long as it looks, A1. That's my thing, is the visuals. But the hypocrisy amongst the gamers, amongst the quote unquote gaming journalists, these reviewers, is really driving me insane. Same thing goes with Dragon's Dogma. All of a sudden now, people are excusing the 30 frames per second. Now, mind you, I don't care. I've been gaming 30 frames per second for the last 30 years. I'm good with it. As long as the game looks good and all this, I'm fine. But it is the hypocrisy in gaming. It is also the team based, you know, on PlayStation or on Xbox. All these things are really cultivating around Rise of Ronin. So it's going to be really interesting when the game comes out and the gamers actually get it in their hands. But these reviewers have really, really been selling out, especially I would say after COVID. Uh, in 2021, 2020, 2021, right around there. I would say they really have been selling out. And you guys all know the examples from Cyberpunk to, Jedi Survivor. And that's my biggest complaint is for some reason, PlayStation games are at a higher tier as far as grade goes, right? Where Xbox, I talk about the Xbox tax, which I've been seeing that a lot, especially with the release of Hi-Fi Rush getting a 91, I think it was. Well, it got maybe a 87. It got like 1 or 2 points higher than it did on the Xbox Series consoles. And everybody's talking about the Xbox tax. Well, no, it's because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it looks better, it's crisper, the shadows are way more detailed, and the DualSense controller really brings out some additional features in the game that you cannot experience on the Series X.
The fact that it has DualSense features on an Xbox game, I'll be honest, is pretty freaking hilarious. Like, and I know people can say, "Well, Minecraft has it." Well, shut up. The Minecraft has never been an Xbox exclusive. So, like, an Xbox exclusive now has DualSense features, which is a competitor's controller key feature. Like, I just, oh God, how bad has it gotten? How bad is it over there when you are building your games to work on your competitor's platform using your competitor's features, and not only that, it looks better than when you got it originally to your main core quote unquote audience. God bless. Such a bad. Bad deal.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah, Hero. And just real quick, Hero, you're right. That's the only reason I'm actually, well, not the only reason, but I'm purchasing Rise of Ronin Friday, and his little review is what actually made me want to buy it. Because I wasn't gonna buy it. I said this on the show before. I'm gonna wait for it, especially with Dragon's Dogma coming out the same day and Princess Peach on the same day. But now I am gonna buy it, and especially the mechanics part. The things that are interesting me about Rise of Ronin, well, Samurai, right? The historical period that they're doing is very pivotal in Japan. This is when they're opening trading to the West, and the one of the few, basically the end of the samurai is right around that period. So I'm super interested in that, but also I am interested because of the mechanics. And I just want to follow up real quick to what Michael said, that Team Ninja is known for mechanics in their games. It's not fair to compare it to other games, judge it on its own. Absolutely, you're correct. But to be devil's advocate, when we are when all these developers and publishers are competing for our money,
Mm-hmm.
what else are we going to compare it to?
Yep, it's
We have
always
to
going to get
compare it.
right. If this game came out at $50, I would look at this thing and go, "Oh wow, that looks way better than Valkyrie
Yeah,
Elysium, which was also $50." Or,
yeah.
you know what? It's probably going to be a larger, bigger game than Assassin's Creed Mirage, but the graphics are a little bit less, but I'm getting more games. So at $50 you
Yep.
compare it to other $50 games, and this game I think would sell like freaking crazy at $50 because you can look at it and go, "Okay, it looks good enough for a $50 game. Oh, and it's this big. Oh, and it has these mechanics. Oh, and the combat is like this. Oh, dude, I'm day 1." But when you
And is a
start
PlayStation exclusive.
and it's a PlayStation exclusive. But when you start getting into that $50 territory, I'm sorry, that $70 territory, you're literally looking at an audience who has played God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Last of Us Part 2, Ratchet and Clank
Returnal.
Rift Apart, Returnal. We just got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and if your game isn't at that level, then I mean, I have a hard time spending $70 on it. Now, I'm not saying that every game has to be a 100% amazing graphical showcase and still be a full priced, full pop game. I remember when uh, Tales of Arise came out. I think that's when they were still doing $60 games. I might be wrong in that. Josh will correct me if I am. But I remember it was being a full priced game. And that game didn't have ultra realistic graphics. No, it was in more of an anime art style. And I understand that games that have non realistic graphics can be $70. But I'm saying if you're going for that look or even that anime look, then you gotta nail it if you're gonna charge 70 for the game. And something about the art style just feels eh. But it also, like, Will, you mentioned mechanics, you mentioned combat, you mentioned all this other stuff that makes a game outside of visual fidelity. And I mean, that's something that can't be overlooked. Look at games like Diablo 2. Those weren't graphical masterpieces and graphical showcases. But what they were some of the best mechanics we had seen at the time in video games for action RPGs. And so that carried the game. The game loop carried the game. And so maybe Rise of Ronin will come out and it'll surprise everybody, and the mechanics alone are going to carry it. And I think that's what their hope needs to be. The mechanics and the story will carry it. Because if not, I don't think the graphics can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and look, and this Friday we have it's a big Friday because it's rare that we get two huge, AAA games coming out the same day like this. Dragon's Dogma is a sequel to it's been highly anticipated. Basically, the sequel has been wanted by the community since 2000 and like 10, right? So this has been, I mean, this game, the first one came out for the PS3, Xbox 360. So it's a big deal. Secondly, You have on the other side another game coming from PlayStation. PlayStation hasn't released anything since Spider-Man 2. They've been getting accused of having a dry year. They've been accused of, all the other crap of price hikes and they're not really looked as favorably as we know that they are. We know that they're cooking. We know that they release it when when it's ready, and when we get it, it's high quality. We don't ever have to really doubt that, right? But it's a big weekend, and now we're getting one game that, and this just makes the hypocrisy even bigger because you have Rise of Ronin, that's gonna have a quality and performance mode, so you'll be able to play it at 30 and 60, and I think there may be even a third option like Horizon did at 40. I think I read that somewhere. I could be wrong, but let's just say it doesn't, right? So it still has quality and performance. On the other side, you have Dragon's Dogma that is an uncapped 30. The game looks good visually. It's definitely not the best visually, but the reason, based on what I've been reading and the reviews and everything, is because there's so much interaction in the world that is very CPU heavy, right? And it's really pushing the RE engine to the limit. But besides the point, you have one game that is going to give quote unquote the fidelity uncapped 30. You have the other game where there really isn't that good fidelity, but you have the performance and quality options. Both games are getting attacked, both games. So when you're looking at it, so the people that are complaining about Rise of Ronin, oh, it looks like
Rise of
shit.
Roseanne. Nope, that's a
Or yeah,
different show.
Rise of Ronin. Oh, it looks like shit. The graphics suck ass. Okay, well you have Dragon's Dogma. That's gonna give you those graphics, quote unquote. And then the same people are attacking Dragon's Dogma. Oh, it doesn't give you performance mode. Oh, it doesn't give you this. Okay, well you have Rise of Ronin. And if none of those, you got Princess Peach coming out Friday. But it's the same people that are the things they're attacking Rise of Ronin for. They have with Dragon's Dogma, but they turn
Hmm.
around and shit on Dragon's Dogma for the things that they want from Rise of Ronin. Can't make up their damn mind.
No, gamers are fickle bastards. We all know this. I am one. Like and we're that. That's why you play so many damn games. That's why, like, we're all like that to some degree. But I do agree that I don't usually jump around in my critiques of one versus the other. I'm usually fairly consistent. Like you mentioned, the 40 frames per second mode, and my God, can we talk real quick before we get into the PS4 spec or the PS shit, the PS4, the PS5 Pro specs and all that? Because I feel, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not playing the right games. I have just a weird, annoying feeling that people have just abandoned the whole VRR gives you 40 frames per second. You can upscale to 1440p using VRR. Like, I feel like that nobody is really focusing on that. And the reason why I say that is games don't usually have it at launch. The ones that do get it, they get it way later. A lot of games that should be coming out 3 years into the generation don't even utilize it. Final Fantasy is a great example of that. That is a game that suffers from it and should have a 40 frames per second VRR mode, outputting at 1440p with better anti-aliasing, uh, so the characters don't look fuzzy. Like, there's things that could be done, that should be done, that the PS5 has the power to do right now. And so I know that people like 30, 60, whatever. I don't give a rat's ass about a 60 frames per second mode if I have a 40 frames per second mode. Because
That's
40
my
frames,
ideal right there. 40
right?
frames.
40 frames, it's
That's
perfect.
my jam.
Horizon Forbidden West at 40 frames per second in VRR is absolutely gorgeous. And it runs perfectly.
Dude, you get the I mean, you get all the features.
You get
And you
everything.
get the bump, from the 30, which we've all been look, anything that runs over 30 is a plus. Okay, let me take that back a little bit because some of you guys are probably going to attack me. What I mean by that is we've all been playing 30 forever. right? For so many damn years. So anything that's over that, it's gonna be satisfying to our eyes. So now on top of that, we get all the fidelity and all the visual stuff and the ray tracing. Like, come on, guys, we're in the best age of gaming right now as far as frames per second, as far as how games look, and sometimes how they even play and the stories. I mean, Ocarina of Time, look at that game. Look at the story in that game then compared to like, a story with a game now. It's just crazy, crazy how far things have come. And the reason I
It
bring up Ocarina of Time is because it was a story kind of heavy game for the time versus what we get now. That's why I brought that up.
God, Ocarina of Time was so good. I love that freaking game.
That little gold shell.
Oh man, the the time travel aspect of it, the water temple in that one sucked
Hmm.
ass. The mountain you go to early on, bro, I think I spent hours in that damn mountain just trying to figure out what in the heck I was supposed
What
to
to do?
do.
Hmm. Yep.
And because there was nothing back then. You could go buy the guide and
Nope.
that was it.
Yep. Yeah, the
And
best outsource would be you go school and you talk with your friends and hopefully somebody got further ahead than you did or
right,
somebody already beat it and that's your source of that was your IGN or your YouTube.
right. That was your IGN. But like, man, I freaking remember that game. It was so good. Anyway, sorry, that was a little side note. Um, hey, we got some more people in here. What's up, Zero? What's up, Outsider? And there was one more that came in, and I can't find your name now, but it'll be okay.
Zero.
Uh, what's up, Henry? Yeah, I got Zero.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so it's not on my list of the purchases I'm making this year at full price. So, and that's mainly because Stellar Blade is coming out next month, and I've already bought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this month. So I have to see what is going to be unveiled at whatever showcase we get in June or July. And so I'm not getting it day one. I know you are. I know a lot of other people are. So I'm interested to see how it performs, how it does. Hear y'all's feedback on that.
Well,
With
I'm gonna
that,
get it day one, but I might not because my plan is to purchase it while I go to Best Buy to pick up my Dragon's Dogma pre-order. So hopefully it's available there and that's when I'll get it. But if they don't, then I'm not gonna spend time looking for it. So I may not, but my intention is day one because of that. Just in case they be like, oh, you didn't get it, you say you were, that's why.
dude, you have folks that watch you so close. It's,
Dude, it's
I
insane.
don't fucking get it.
Jeez.
Folks, dude, folks
Me
hang from your
neither.
nuts, bro. You post something to Twitter. You didn't say you were getting that. Who the fuck? Shut up. Go
And all I'm
somewhere.
doing it is for like my friends, because all you guys are my friends. So I'm like, like Hero, like me and Hero agree a lot. So I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And I'm like, oh, that's cool, that sucks, whatever. I don't know these people. I don't even like, dude. I got 100 followers. Like, leave me alone, dude.
Yeah, I'm nothing. Leave me alone. I'm just here living and I'm communicating with my friends through X. Shut up. Um, so speaking of shutting up, so tonight we're going to talk about the genius, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Cerny. Guy developed the uh, architecture design for the PS5, and he is back at it again with the three buttons of quality. We are having a quality conversation tonight on three different avenues. We're going to be talking about power, we're going to be talking about GPU, and we're going to be talking about speed. Uh, because the PS5 Pro, the specs that are out, uh, basically what he has done is said, hey, listen, the developers want faster. I can do that. The developers want more power. I can do that too. Developers want a quicker GPU. Yeah, we got you. And they've delivered everything. And Sony has launched an investigation into what third party company leaked this. Good luck to Sony trying to find out who that actually was. And Digital Foundry did a whole thing on it, and we're going to give our takes on it and kind of what we want. Because around the PS5 Pro, there's been this, and I was one of them. But after I was talking to Nate a little bit, I kind of pared myself back and kind of gotten this more realistic mindset. And so that's kind of the journey I want to take us on tonight is this mindset of when the PS5 Pro first got speculated, everybody, including myself, was like, dude, games at 4K, at 60 frames per second, native 4K, we're getting all the ray tracing, we're going to get all of this and all of that. And that's when Nate was like, dude, my PC can't always give me all of those things. And so I was like, oh, okay. So back down to reality, the main thing that I want to see, it goes hand in hand with something I said earlier about VRR. I want to see developers using VRR more, and I want to see a 1440p, full blown ray tracing, global illumination, every aspect of ray tracing you can give me, along with 40 frames per second. That's my hope. That's my goal. That's what will make me buy the system day one. If they said, "Hey, this is achievable and if we get 1080p upscaled to 4K at 60 FPS, then great." But I want to see developers being able to use more VRR and upscaling techniques, and it sounds like we're going to get that. It sounds like we're going to be able to use that because Sony has actually gone out and created their own kind of upscaling technology. It's going to be called PSSR or PISSR for short. And so it's basically what it's going to do is it's going to operate kind of like a DLSS from what I understand. By the way, guys, fun fact, I'm not a tech genius. I meant to reach out to Nate to see if he would come on and explain some of this shit to me, but I didn't have time to reach out to him because I'm on call this week. So the article I'm using is from Eurogamer, Digital Foundry, Richard Ledbetter. It's his article, and basically it's more of the same stuff that I've kind of been talking about. But here's the specs of it. Okay, it's a same Zen 2 CPU. It's going to be overclocked to 3.85, which is 10% faster, or I'm sorry, 10% more than what it does right now at 3.5. I don't really know what that means, but I know 10% better is better. And then it's going to have 60 CUs RDNA 3. The current one has 36 CUs at RDNA 2. It's going to have 33.5 teraflops of power. Sorry. Oh god. Teraflops is a word that I can't even use without feeling bad about using it. Like it's a spec sheet, but because it's been bastardized by the other side so long for, we're going to be the powerhouse, we're going to be this, we're going to be that, and Mark Cerny comes out, chest hair all open. Can't wait to show y'all the full thumbnail. It's on my X if you haven't seen it yet. Shout out to Warwana. Thank you again for that. He's holding that PS5 controller looking all just sick and shit like he's about to handle business. We have on the playground, we have Mark Cerny with the buttons undone and the quality splits now, and Jez on the grindhouse.
Herman Holtz.
He has Herman Hulst with those quality splits and the buttons undone. And Jez's idea, actually, I mentioned it in his chat, and he goes, "Dude, use that on your show. Use we'll have Herman on mine and Cerny on yours." So
Yep.
we now have the three buttons down. Mark Cerny comes in and goes, "Oh wait, teraflops, yeah, those are a thing, and we're gonna use them." And so 33.5 teraflops of power. So it's going to be a little bit beefier than what we have now. Just because it's times three, if you go listen to the Digital Foundry video, that actually only relates to about a 40% increase in available power, which still pretty good, to be honest. Like 40% more power. When when we have seen them talk to devs and we've heard devs speak to them on kind of what they want, every dev says we want to be able to process more shit. Like, we want to be able to make processing faster. We want to get the information delivered faster. We can do so much more stuff with ray tracing and shaders and with every aspect of the game if the information can move faster. And so Cerny said, hold my beer, and said, here, we're going to make this one faster. Is it going to be better in a graphical sense? Possibly. Is it going to be 120 frames per second on every game? Probably not. But we are going to see a increase. Memory available for games got a slight bump, and then the bandwidth and for the memory interface is actually going to be a bit faster. It's going to be 256 at 576 gigabytes, or I'm sorry, 256 bits per second, 576 gigabytes per second, I think. And so it's going to be faster. What about y'all in the comments though? What are some things that y'all want from the PS5 Pro that would make it day one for y'all? And let's be realistic here. And while y'all are discussing that, Will, what do you want? I've kind of said what I want: 1440, 40 frames per second, and I want VRR to be able to be utilized more. So, what are you looking for?
Um, I'm not looking for anything. I
Oh, naysayer here? No day one for you?
No, I don't know anything about it yet. All this stuff, I don't know. I don't know nothing about the specs. I don't know. No, I understand when they say 10% more powerful, 40% more powerful, all this crap. I understand that. But all these other specs, I don't care. Doesn't tickle my gamer wee wee. It doesn't do anything for me. I want
Did you just
PlayStation to
say
sell
gamer
me.
wee wee?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
that little tickle you get when you see a game you really want to play.
Okay.
I need PlayStation to come out and sell it to me. Now, the things that I do want are I want the console to be for the hardcore gamer like me and us. I want it to,
Like the PS4 Pro was.
I don't know if it was or wasn't. I mean, I have one. I will say that it feels a little bit better, but I can't see the difference. It does run the PSVR better, in my opinion, but that's all I can tell.
Okay.
But what I mean by that is, I want it to be a niche product. I don't want it to be something that is going to be for the masses. I want it to be like how if I'm going to go get um, a high-end car and they're adding on an extra 100 horsepower by upgrading the model, and that's only for the enthusiasts. And that's what I want from this. I I did see a rumor, or maybe it's not a rumor, that they were able to get Jedi Survivor running on the dev kit at 4K 120 frames. That would be awesome. But my confusion with all this stuff is I'm able to play games at 60 right now. So what devs are saying, what you just said, is that they want to be able to process shit faster, ray tracing, VR, get the stuff, more data, all this stuff, right? So what's to stop when the Pro comes out, let's say the specs are accurate, what's to stop developers from doing what they always done? Meaning, now they have all this power, now they're able to transfer all this information. And instead of using it to develop their games to run at 4K 120, they just add, instead of having, for example, 20 sandwiches, now they have 1,000 because they're able to. And by doing that, now we're right back to level one, where the game now is running at 30 frames, 4K. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that's happening with Dragon's Dogma, right? Dragon's Dogma, the reason that it's 30, it's because there is so much shit in the game, so many things that are interactive, so many things moving, so much information, so much data, that higher frames wasn't the goal. It wasn't something they were interested in. They wanted to make the game how they made it. So what's to stop them from doing that on this Pro? Because right now on our PS5, Call of Duty was 120 frames per second. There's been numerous games that you can get 120. Most games you can get at 60. So what's the sell here? That I'm able to get 4K at 60 or 4K at 120? Because if it's only gonna get me, I don't know, for example, 4K at 60, I don't know if I'll be able to justify that purchase. So that's why when I say I don't want anything from it, it's because I just don't know. But also sell it to me. Show me why you deserve my business. Show me why you deserve the asking price that you're gonna ask for, which I think it's gonna be right around $700 if these specs are accurate. And even though I don't know much about it, I still know that the shit is expensive. And another thing people forget, we're going on 4 years of technology. Last month on the podcast, we talked about how these graphic cards back in the early 2000s will come out once a year if we were lucky, once every couple years. Now they're releasing one every 3, 4 months, it seems like. So it
Right.
is not unfathomable to say that in 4 years, the technology has advanced enough where they can do a pro. Now, the cost, another thing too, this generation, I don't think we're going to be seeing the 299 price points on the PS5. I
No.
don't.
No,
Only
no.
reason is because, and the economy is trash all over the world. The cost of things are going up instead of going down. So then that's leaves me questioning is how much is this PS5 Pro going to cost? What is it able to do? And would you buy it if the price was 550 instead of 500? Like it's just a couple of questions that were way too early to know. We don't PlayStation hasn't said anything, but what we do know is that PlayStation has tried to stop or not stop, but they started an internal investigation
Yep.
on how this leak happened. So that leads me to believe that this leak is accurate. Now the specs may not be accurate, we could still be guessing, but I can say almost with certainty that a PS Pro is coming out for sure. So I'm excited just to see what's gonna happen. I'm just a consumer. I'm waiting for them to do their thing and show me what they got. If it is, I'm gonna be right there and buy it day one.
So I didn't buy the PS4 Pro day one. Surprisingly, I bought the PS4 Pro at the beginning of, oh shoot, when did the
But I got the
PS5
PS4 Pro
release?
last year.
The PS5
That's
released in 2020, I believe. Is that
2020
right?
November.
Okay, then I got the PS4 Pro in January of that year. And I upgraded from my regular PS4. And so I always wait for the Slim or the whatever to purchase it. I usually never buy the Slim, and I don't usually get the second console until way late in the generation. And generally
Really?
speaking,
I
it's
always keep mine. This is the only reason I bought a Pro is because my PS4 broke and I had given it to my son. But I normally just keep my shit. I never buy the Slim or none of that crap. Whatever I buy in the beginning of the generation, that's what I keep for the whole time.
nah, not usually me. I usually keep them for about as long as I keep my TVs, about 3 to 5 years.
Hey, are you able
And
to do polls on here?
I'm trying to quit. Really, I don't need the money that bad, sir.
Oh, no, I'm saying, haha. Because that'd be a good question to ask. I mean, I got a feeling most of these guys on here are gonna buy it day one, but I would just be really
Let me
interested
see.
to see. Either we can do a simple, guys. Put in one in the chat if you're buying the PS5 Pro. If the schematic or not schematics, but the leaks are correct as far as power, RAMs, all that stuff. Put a one or two if it's something that you're gonna wait for. Because I'm just super
Yeah, I mean
interested to see.
that's something that I'm that's something I'm actually interested in also because everybody has their own idea of what they want as far as
Hmm.
what they want from a game, right? I am very much, and so is my son. He's worse about it than I am. He was watching me play Final Fantasy, and he was like, "Dad, why does it look like they're moving so slow?" I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, everything's really pretty, and like, but it just feels like they're moving slow." And he goes, "It didn't look like this yesterday or the other day when you played." And I was like, "Oh, hang on." And I swap it over to 60 frames per second because I was playing in quality. And I swapped it over to 60, and he goes, "Oh my God, that's so much better. Don't play in the other way, please." I was like,
So he likes performance.
he does, because him and I both like the way it's smoother when your character
Hmm.
moves and just the flow of the game to me and the way the camera moves and everything. Everything looks better. You don't have a lot of that motion blur and when you get into 60 FPS. At
Look
least
at the
I
chat.
don't feel it.
They all got ones except for Outsider. He got zero. I don't know what that means.
That means he ain't interested at all.
He said, "Fuck that shit."
He said, "I'm not doing your stupid poll." But no, guys, I really think that, and Zero mentioned it in chat. He said unless Herman comes in with some of that, or not Herman, unless Mark comes in with some of that Cerny magic, uh, it's
But
not
he
really.
will.
That's the thing.
He
Like,
will.
this dude did not let us down at all
No.
for the
He only
PS5.
comes out when that's what I like about Cerny. He's dependable. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna come out and say some bullshit. He's not like a certain somebody over on Xbox where he's got to come out and
No,
sneeze every
no,
fucking two
no.
seconds.
Listen. I am fully convinced now that Phil Spencer hasn't lied to us a day in his life.
Yeah, right. Man, Cerny is if he got something to say or show, he will, and not only is he gonna tell you, but he's gonna explain the when, why, how. He's gonna answer all the questions. He's gonna give you a presentation. I mean, to this day, I have his PS5 presentation that's like an hour and some long. I have that saved to a playlist on YouTube, and
was
every
that
once in a while,
was that when they showed the breakdown of it, like the unscrewing of the parts and everything?
no, no, no. This is him giving a straight up like Excel presentation. Like it's like super boring. He's in a black suit, I think he is. It's like you're watching a freaking like a professor talk about whatever science for an hour. But I literally go back to that video at least two, three times a year because this dude knows what he's talking about, and it's just awesome to listen to what he says, play a game, and everything he said is I'm playing it and it's happening and it's going the way he said it, how he said it, the reason he says it. When a game does something, I know why. And it's just like behind the scenes shit, It's like kind of meeting like your favorite band backstage, It's like get to ask him all the questions, and that's what he does for us. So I really like Cerny, and I'm so happy that he decided or PlayStation gave him an opportunity when he was a free agent, and and this another I'm sorry to take over this, but
No, you're
another
good.
thing that I really love about this, which is something that we've spoken about before, is leadership and management, right? And Cerny is to me what I strive to be as a manager myself. I've said this before. If you're a manager or supervisor and your employee says, "Hey boss, can you mop the floor so I can move a little bit faster?" Then that's your job as leader, is to make sure you give your employee everything that they need so they can do their job as effective as possible, right? You just don't sit in your office and be like, "Oh, I'm the boss, so everybody's got to do what I got to." No, it's the complete opposite. You're actually going to work more because now you're responsible for these people. And that's what I really love about Cerny, is that he takes what developers are saying. He's listening to how they want to make games, what they need, and he tries to provide that. When people ask why the PlayStation 4 was so successful, it wasn't really because of the games, because the games didn't really pop off to the end of the generation, right? The reason it sold so well is because after the PS3, they said we have to change. How do we do that? Well, the biggest complaint with the PS3 was developing on it, right? Where even EA said, look, we might not put out Madden out on your PS3. That was a huge wake up call for them. And they did what any logical person would do. Let's listen to the developers, what they need. And because of that, they became successful. And I said this before as well. One of the reasons the Switch sells so well is because I told you guys about the guy who was involved with making Spider-Man for the PlayStation 2. He now is an indie dev. He basically makes about 2 to 4 games per year from his basement. He works by himself because Nintendo makes it accessible for him to do so. There isn't a whole bunch of regulations or rules that he has to follow. Developing for the Switch is super simple. So he's actually able to provide for his family while doing something he loves because Nintendo made it so easy for him as a developer to put games on their console, which is something that Xbox, and I hate to bring them up, but I don't want Xbox to go away. I just want them to do better. And that's something Xbox hasn't done. Just like the Xbox One, they were so focused on TV, sports, that they forgot about the gamer. And the Series X is doing the same exact thing. So now you have their own first party game, Hi Fi Rush, that came out and works better on the PlayStation. And last thing I'll say before I pass it to Thrifty, real funny because I put on Twitter, I put a picture. I'm like, in less than an hour, Xbox is gonna do their I forgot what I said. They're coming out or their premiere on PlayStation. And Josh was like, no, they did that with Pentiment. And I said, dude, that's a novel. That's a freaking,
That's a novel.
graphics novel. I don't count that as a game. But, that's the shit that's happening. And because of that, it's hurting. So we have games that are from Xbox. And we saw that with Ghostwire Tokyo. We saw this numerous times. Not just their first party games, but third party games. They just run better on the PlayStation. And why? Because of Cerny.
No, yeah, no, they, so yes, and I just put a poll in chat because I just figured out how to do that, and y'all go take that poll. Do you believe in Cerny magic? Do
I
you
was the first one
believe
to vote.
in something that is going to be super impressive, something that's going to be done in such a way that kind of baffles people? I hear people throwing around, well, what if a game isn't CPU dependent? And my dumbass is sitting here thinking, how is a game not CPU dependent? Every computer is CPU dependent. And so, what if there's this thing that I don't know that, I mean, I guess Will doesn't know that, like, a game can be designed where it's not dependent on the CPU and maybe they can use some other avenues. I have no idea. But I think that we are going to get some pretty hellacious um, Cerny magic from this, and it's going to baffle us. Even if it is just 1080p upscaled to 4K at 60 FPS, I think that would be enough to say, dang, this generation is what it was supposed to be at this moment. And so I
Yeah.
think that's going to be cool. I don't think I'm going to be, excuse me, Lord help. I don't think I'm going to be day one, but I do think that I will be purchasing it a whole lot faster than I did the PS4 Pro. So, anyways, oh, what's up, Jez? We have Jez in the chat. What is going on, man? Um, Happy to have you here. Nick, I saw you come in. Toolman, what's going on? I think you were here earlier. Thank y'all for showing up. Hit that like button, and we will continue on with the topics because there is another one that, God bless, I just really want to cover. And Xbox has been dealing with freeloaders for a long time. It's a problem that they started back when they pushed subscription services. Then they gave that subscription service away for $1 a year. People stacked up on those. And then I found out I had no idea you could do this until this story broke. I had no earthly idea that you could play on the Xbox, earn achievements, and then use those achievement points to purchase Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah. Yep. I can go over it a little bit if you like.
Literally, they went to a freaking free to play model and they're pissed off that they're not making money.
Dude, not just that, I haven't turned on my Xbox since I finished beating the Gears games, which was January, early February. And over since then till now, I have accumulated an additional 2,500 points, and I haven't turned that thing on not one time. Actually, I'm lying. I turned it on to check out Persona because it's on Game Pass and my Game Pass ends this month. But not one, besides that one time, 2,500 points. Why? Because you get 10 points just for going on the app daily. Then you get another 50 points for playing Microsoft Jewel, which is just like a phone game where you connect three colors of diamonds and then they disappear and then they collapse. So then you clear the whole board. And I do that every day. Every day. Oh, I'm using the bathroom. All right, I'll play Microsoft Jewel real quick. And all you gotta do is clear one level, which takes like,
Oh,
a
you
couple
play with
minutes.
Microsoft's Jules in the bathroom? That's kind of gross, bro.
Yep.
Pause.
So yeah, and then once you get X amount of points, you can use those points towards gift cards. You can use it towards um just different things, including buying a month of Game Pass, basic or ultimate or core, whatever they call it. So that's one of the back in January, I purchased, I did the math. So I was like, all right, if I buy all the games that I play, which is the Halos and the Gears, and I have that other game that Sucker Punch did, or Insomniac did for Xbox, I ended up spending about $110, right? Versus spending $15 a month for a year. All right, bet. So I bought the games. Then a whole bunch of people were commenting on there, which in that post I got like, I don't know, man, like 1,000 likes, and it was like crazy numbers. But what I kept seeing over and over again, which relates to the topic, is people saying, "Oh yeah, you're an idiot for paying for Game Pass. You can just use your points." And I was like, "Well, I only can get," and I mentioned the points that I get, right? Plus whatever achievements I get from the game. They're like, "No, dude, you got to get 7 friends on there because then the multiplier is like times 2 or 3." I haven't paid for Game Pass ever. I just use my points every year. And I'm just like dumbfounded. I'm like, and then you guys wonder why? You're over here telling me not to pay for Game Pass. Not even Game Pass. They're not saying don't get Game Pass. They're telling me not to pay
They're
for
just
Game
saying don't
Pass.
pay for it.
Yeah, they're like, don't pay for it. This is how you get it for free. Now I'm like, geez. So are they freeloaders? Absolutely they are. They're buying the cheapest console, the cheapest entry possible. Then they get mad because Baldur's Gate won't run on there, or other games won't run on there, or if they do, they're missing a whole bunch of features. They're pissed off because they're not getting the games. They're pissed off, and mind you, this is all while Xbox is literally making no money while they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. So you got nothing coming in, you got everything coming out, and then you wonder why they're going third party. It's because of you, the gamer. You have nobody to blame but yourself.
No, 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 no,
I'm
no,
new to
no, no, no,
Xbox.
no. Wait a minute. They have been conditioning these people. They have been basically, that goes back to something I said last year.
Oh,
It's
I forgot Xbox is
basically,
manipulators.
right, it's basically Stockholm syndrome here. Like, they have been told by the company that they support, hey, this is what we want you to do. And you know what? They said, this is going to be awesome. This is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly what they told me to. And now they're sitting there in this mode where, wait, now you're taking away avenues where I can do this, but y'all told me to. You took away dollar Game Pass, then you took away Game Pass Gold, or no, I'm sorry,
Live.
Live, and now we're getting articles just written a couple days ago that say, hey, y'all need to be taking advantage of this while you still can. And so, like, y'all kind of done did this to your damn self.
I mean,
This
look,
is the bed that Xbox made, and now Xbox is having to lie in this bed, which is why their games are coming over, which is why any listen, I will go on record right now and I will eat the biggest crow if I'm wrong, but this is why I fully believe that probably after this year, it might not even make it past this year. Every freaking Xbox game is going to become a multi-platform game on release. Like I have
they
no
will.
doubt in my mind
I don't
because
know
they
about your time
have to.
frame, but yeah.
Well, what are they going to do? So you got the PS5 Pro coming out more than likely this year. You have a full slate of games that have been surprisingly held, or seemingly held rather, and they have no mid-gen refresh. Their games suck ass already on their system. So what else is left for them except to go, hey, this is the bed that we made. This is the bed that we have to lie in. And now, well, shit, guess what? We're now third party, guys. Sorry. But what about our console? Yeah, we're just going to make this little thing that connects to the cloud. Oh, so it's really over. Yeah, we fucked it up 10 years ago and haven't been able to right the ship since. And what's super awesome, guys, shout out to King Thrash. Y'all need to go watch
Yes.
his dang documentary, part one of the end of
Yeah.
Xbox. So freaking awesome.
Yep.
So well done.
Check out all his documentaries. He's got a lot of them, man, and you will learn some shit on there.
He's really, really good at what he does. And when he does his documentaries, if you're maybe like, you know what, I don't like a lot of the language that he uses or how colorful he is on his podcast or whatnot, guys, in his documentaries, he doesn't do that. It is very professionally done. The intro of that thing was freaking sick. I watched the intro like 3 times just because of how it was laid out and how it looked. It looked like the start of a music video.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. Also, the new thumbnail is up, so y'all can actually see that now. I found out that my computer can do some pretty cool things on the YouTube backend, so I'll mess around with that later. But like, I have the new thing up. You can see the picture from Warawana right there in the middle of it, with Mark Cerny and the 3 buttons undone, 3 buttons of quality, power, speed, and GPU size increase. Like 3 buttons of quality splits right here. It's going to be awesome. Is it going to be the best thing since sliced bread? Not sure, but it's going to be awesome. And so take a look at that. Xbox is literally screwing over their people. Sorry, I did a quick little sidestep, and now I'm bringing it back over. Xbox is literally messing over their people, and they're having to do it because they created their own problem. They have become their own worst enemy, and they've been that for a while. And I'm starting to believe that when Phil Spencer spoke up and said, hey, listen, guys, whether we build a 10 out of 10 game or an 11 out of 11 game, it's not going to matter. Like,
Most idiotic thing.
but was it? He's right.
Yeah. No, he's wrong because if he did that 3 times in a row, the whole
No.
industry will be fucking
I
asking like, "What's happening here? This is different."
oh, hang on, guys. My kid is coughing. Will take that.
Yeah, the reason I disagree with Thrifty is because games is what sells. Even look at the PS5 Pro that we're talking about. We're talking about how it's going to run the games, right? We're not talking about what features it's going to have. Are we going to be able to download whatever app, Hulu or Netflix, or what benefits are going to do to that? No, we're talking about how is it going to run the games? Is it going to run it at 4K 120? Is it going to be 60? What's it going to be? If Xbox came out with a banger this week, I would say, oh, wow, a banger. Okay, not expected. And then next month or 3 months, another banger. Okay, wait a minute, back to back? Something's happening over here. Let me pay more attention. 3 months after that, another banger. Now you're going to be paying attention. Now you're going to be looking forward to what's next. It's like your favorite pop star. They drop that first album, which generally is their best album, right? And then the second album comes and it's make or break, right? But when they come out with that second album, it's another banger. You're like, oh shit, now you're paying attention. Now they're third and fourth, and now they're dropping banger after banger after banger. Now you're paying attention. Now they become your favorite. Now they're on your what to watch for list. So do I think Phil Spencer was wrong? Yes, he was. Do I think he was right at the same time? He is. But that's because the vision they have isn't quality games. That's where Thrifty, I think he's right that Phil was correct in that because they're not looking to making good games. They're looking at how they're going to survive this with everything but make good games. And that's why I say I disagree that he was wrong, is because if they focus the same energy they're focusing on cloud and all this other bullshit on making games, their situation wouldn't be as bad as it is now, and they may find a way out only if they focus on the games.
So I kind of took it from a different angle when he said that if they make great games, it won't matter. It's not going to move the needle. He was absolutely correct in that when they make a great game, or if they ever do make a great game, that game is going day one to Game Pass, and it doesn't make them jack shit. It
No, no,
doesn't
no.
move the needle for them because they have X amount of players who aren't even paying for Game Pass. And that's a problem that they created. So he was dead on accurate in saying, listen, Starfield could be an 11 out of 11, and it's not going to move the needle a lot for us. It's not going to
Yes,
do
but
it.
at the same time, that's where instead of me not getting an X, buying an Xbox at all, but that's where that's the thing with Xbox is that the current player base they have is not supporting them, right? But then you have the other side, the PlayStation users and the Nintendo users. If they do come out with the bangers, I'm gonna buy an Xbox to play those games because they're exclusive and they're bangers. So instead of waiting for a huge sale like I did for Christmas for 350, how I got my Series X, I would have bought that shit, a while ago just to play those games. So it's what they're doing is they're looking to maintain what they currently have instead of looking how to get the new gamer business. Well, the way you do that is by dropping banger exclusives. And I just don't think they're there yet. They're in panic mode. They're distraught. Right now, they're just trying to salvage whatever they have left. That's why they're whoring out their first party games. But if they actually focus on accruing business and growing, the new game system is going to do it for you. It's what it has always done for any console maker since forever, since Atari. It's the games.
Mm. And they have not made good games. But
No, they haven't.
good news is that if you want to play any of the Xbox trash, I know that people are super hyped for Hellblade 2. People are talking about Stalker 2. Maybe it might come, it
Which, by
might
the way,
not.
Stalker 2 is coming to PlayStation 6 months after.
Oh,
It's only a
shh,
6 months
shh,
exclusive.
shh. We don't talk about that. We don't.
Oh, yeah.
We
You're right.
just,
I'm sorry.
just let that
I'm
one
sorry.
go.
I'm sorry.
We won't talk about that one
You're right.
just
I don't know
yet.
what I'm talking about. I'm drunk, guys. Even though I don't drink, I'm drunk.
We we can't mention that until it gets closer, sir. It doesn't work. But no, you have Stalker 2, you have Hellblade 2, and you have the Indiana Jones game. Outside of that, I haven't heard them really hyping up anything from Xbox. I haven't heard them talking about anything from Xbox. And typically, guys, I want y'all to understand how insufferable they were last year when Hi-Fi Rush came out,
Oh my
or when
goodness.
Starfield came out, or even, my God, the amount of copium that happened when Redfall came out.
Dude,
And
imagine
then
when Halo and then after that came out what came out after Halo? Dude, we're on a roll. We're on a roll, guys. Oh my gosh, shut up.
look how fast we're releasing games, guys. Y'all
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
even, y'all only get one exclusive and a DLC. And look at
yeah.
this, we're doing 4 games, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the DLC that was released last year for Horizon was better than anything fucking that they
Oh, by
put
a long
out
mile.
the entire game or the entire
By a
year.
long
Like
mile. Yeah.
it's and it's something that we've been saying for a long time. So it feels like we're just beating the same old damn drum. But I promise you, this has been the more that the layers get peeled back, the more that everybody should be starting to see that, for one, Phil Spencer, the shithead ain't never lied to us. He said exactly the truth. We don't view them as competitors. We want them. We view every screen. We want Game Pass everywhere in the hands of all gamers who can play games. Like, we have all of these, right? What's up, Twisted Sin? We have all of these, and we like we got receipts, right? We really do. And anytime we want, we can go and pull up those receipts where Phil Spencer opens his mouth, or Tim Cook opens his mouth, or Satya Nadella, or Sarah Bond, or Matt Booty when he's not getting coffee for people. Like, it's absolutely insane. And what's really cool is on any given day, you'll start to see little cracks in the armor of these Xbots on X and on YouTube. You'll start to see little cracks, and then the next day they come back and they shill for it again. Like I was looking at somebody's X the other day, and it said it's a great time to be an Xbox fan. Xbox just constantly wins. 2020, Xbox winning. 2022, Xbox won. 2023, Xbox won. And then it said 2024, Xbox winning. And I was like, winning what? Like, are they giving out more greenhouse awards? Like, what are you winning? You're doing nothing. And so but then the day before that, that same guy posted something about how crappy it was at Xbox and all this other stuff. So I mean, you're starting to see a little bit of that break in the facade that they've created for themselves and in the lies that they've been fed. That shit needs to be illegal. Absolutely. Guys, we have 17 people who have voted in the poll, and let's see what she says. 17 votes, 94% said yes, they believe in Cerny magic, and one person had to be the contrarian and said no. And so we'll leave that up for just a bit longer. I'll cut it off at 30 minutes on the poll, but I believe in Cerny magic. And so let's read these. This shit needs to be illegal. They winning the moral victory. Bro, they don't even get the moral victory, Zero. They don't even get that. We get that. The moral victory is, we might be losing, but at least we have amazing games. Like, they don't even have that. They can't even come in here and say, hey, you know what? We're losing in sales. We're losing in revenue. We're losing in all these other things. They beat us in cloud. They beat us in streaming. They beat us in subservice. But dadgummit, man, did you play that Redfall? Did you see how good that game was? At least we have great quality coming to us. They can't even say that. And I know all about moral victories. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. And so, like, moral victories are like when you get beat in the playoffs, but the team that beats you goes on to win the Super Bowl. So you can sit and say, well, at least the team that beat me was the one that won the Super Bowl. Like, those are moral victories. I totally understand those. And if you're a gamer and not a football enthusiast, just know that what I said is accurate to football. Um, that's let's see. I got another message on here. That's message. That's messed up. Hope someone looks into that. No doubt. So we
Remember,
suck
guys,
again.
they care so little for games that where does Sarah Bond come from? Who does she work with previously? T-Mobile. That's who. That's where Sarah Bond comes from. It's T-Mobile. The Xbox console is just not their priority. Their priority is mobile. Their priority is the cloud. Hence, why they recruited Sarah Bond to come work for them. So it doesn't take, you know, a genius to figure this out, man. Look at what they put out. Look at the quality of the games. And Phil goes on his apologetic tour. They eat it up and they spread it. And something Thrifty said earlier about the Stockholm syndrome. Yes, okay, some people do go through that. But come on, guys, we are all adults here. We can all take a look at two bits of information and say, okay, this smells like shit and this looks more right. Let me look into it and make up our own minds. I don't need nobody from PlayStation, not even Cerny himself, tell me that this is the way things are when I know they're not. Yes, they have the benefit of the doubt, right? Because of their history and what they've done. And I take that into account. But after X amount of time for Xbox, it's been a generation and a half. That excuse is no longer valid, especially when you have podcasts like these, when you have people like us on Twitter saying, hey, this don't taste good, something's happening. But because
Mm.
of you
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be right, look where you're at now.
Woo! You got me in my church. You got me in my Sunday mode right there. I was about to start giving you some amens. Like that's so like if you just listen to the people that have more than two brain cells to rub together. And I'm not saying this channel. I'm a little piss on channel. I'm at 440 subscribers. I'm nothing. I'm talking about the big channels going, guys, T-flops might not matter. No, T-flops, T-flops, T-flops. Oh my God, T-flops. They might not matter as much as you think. No, it's going to be great. Okay. I don't
It's
think
funny you
so.
say that because I was watching today or listening to at work World War II historian, and this guy he's like freaking a doctorate, he knows his shit. He's been studying this his whole life, and it was funny because on the comments people were like, can you believe this shit? They went and got this guy when they could have just got 4 YouTubers to explain this to us and tell us what happened during World War II. And I just thought about gaming because it's fucking right. Like you'll get a fucking dickhead whose family went to bed and now he's got 30 minutes to actually make a quick little video and he says that he got from his leaker that they're gonna be dropping this banger and now he's the one that's
Yeah.
correct when you
Yeah.
have people that are in the industry, telling you the complete opposite. But okay,
See, and that's one thing I like about not having any inside information. Like, because I just get to look and go, okay, let me see if I can apply logic to this and if things in this world still work out in a logical way. And so far, they have. I said when Phil first did his interview that it sounded like a defeatist speech. Like,
mm-hmm.
the very first one that he did, I was like, that man's defeated. It's done. And I had folks
Yep.
left and right in Salty's chats saying, "No, no, he's not done." Now these were Xbots, but like, "No, it's not done. It's not over. It's not." And all we didn't have any insider information. There was no Tom Warren. There was no even Zuby Tech. There was none of those guys on there. It was just us using our freaking brain, and using our brain, we connected the dots and said, "Guys, this is the end. He is giving up. They have to." No, y'all are ridiculous. Next thing comes out, Starfield. Well, guys, sorry, this didn't save us. Then that's fine. We got Forza. No, guys, Forza's coming out incomplete. Phil already said y'all that they had to get back to quality and that that was a place where they had been lacking in recent years. Y'all didn't listen. He told you what they've been screwing up on. It's the same thing we've told you that they've been screwing up on. And instead of really keying in on that, like we all did, they breeze right past that and go, "But Hellblade 2 is coming out, and it's exclusive, and we get Starfield exclusive. Take that, PlayStation!" Like, at some point, you can't let your console narrative and your console warring get in the way of your brain. And
Dude,
sometimes that happens. Go ahead.
they're like a delusional boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, oh yeah, they cheated on me 99 times, but that one relationship they had, they didn't cheat on me, so or they didn't cheat on them, so it's gonna work out with me. It's like, are you so you're throwing out the potato that you find? Like, come on, bro. Like,
Hey, last year
that's
that potato was Hi-Fi Rush.
yes, no, yeah, absolutely. And the year before that was Pentiment, the graphic novel. Oh,
The
look, it
gra-
runs at 100 and it runs at 1,000 frames per second. This is the power of the Xbox. Like, yeah, if it was an audiobook, it run at 1,000 frames per second too. But
Which, to be fair, I do kind of like those games because of the ultra realistic look that they have in some of the like uh, dark picture anthologies. Just and remember Heavy Rain, we've talked about it before on the channel, but like Heavy Rain on the PS3 looked freaking insane for its time. But it's because it didn't have to, like, there was no combat system. Everything was QTE events and everything was just internal choices that were made. And so, anyways, that's off the topic. But it really is, and I didn't look at the chat. I'm sorry if I offended somebody with the freaking Stockholm syndrome, but I'm about to do it again. They literally exhibit the same signs as Stockholm syndrome. They defend the company that's doing this to them with their dying breath until something happens that is big enough to snap them out of it. And we saw that with oh, not Colt. Who's the other one? Oh crap, the one who like wanted to play
damn
Helldivers.
dog.
Tim Dog, thank you. Uh, we saw that with Tim Dog where it finally snapped for him. We almost saw that again with Crap Gamer, but he's back on his bullshit.
I don't
We've
like him at all.
we also almost saw that with other people in the community, but they're all back riding the nutsack again. And but like it's getting to that point where little by little people are being freed from that thought process of Xbox can do no wrong. Because the thing that always separates, and we've said it many times, the thing that always separates a PS5 player versus an Xbox player is most of us aren't afraid to call Sony out on their bullshit. Like
Most of the time.
most of the time. Like I did it at the beginning. I think that a lot of these third-party games that are coming out that are exclusive to the PlayStation should have VRR. Why do I think that? Because my damn system can do it, so give it to me.
And
Like,
DualSense features.
well, and DualSense features. The DualSense, guys, I know everybody in this audience has a PS5, but maybe somebody listening to this afterwards won't. Like, if you've never played a game with the DualSense, and it's any kind of action RPG, shooter, action adventure, or third person over the shoulder shooter game, you need to get it because it literally is a game changer. The opening scene of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I was streaming it, and it was the Nibelheim scene that was in the demo. It's been in previews. I'm not spoiling anything. And Cloud is having to crawl on the ground. And the DualSense literally fights you the whole freaking time because Cloud is busted up, he's beaten, and he's broken, so he can't move very well. Well, guess what doesn't push in very well to move his left and right arm? The L2 and L2 and R2 buttons. You literally have to fight with it. And as I was doing it, Josh in the chat goes, "Man, I have never had the DualSense fight me more in a game than it did in this moment." I was like, "Bro, I feel it because it was there." And when you pull Aloy's bow back and release it, you can feel it kind of shoot through the controller. Like doing features like that that people look at, even when the PlayStation 5 was announced and the DualSense controller was announced, people were looking at it going, it's just a controller upgrade. It's just a controller upgrade. They focus too much time on the controller. Guys, I'm telling you, the controller makes a massive, massive difference when it comes to immersion. And it's little bullcrap details like that people at the time throw away. I remember hearing folks break down the specs and talk about the power narrative and talk about the speed and all that of the SSD and the PS5 and blah, blah, blah. But what I never heard them really talk about was the haptics. Like they'd mention it, but it was never this thing that was like just there. And so even to the quote unquote journalist, it was like, oh, this is just an extra feature. Cool. When it comes down to it, it's a big part of enjoying a game and being immersed into the game. Would you agree?
Hell, dude, I just brought up Hi-Fi Rush. How it just feels and it plays better, and a big reason of that is the DualSense.
Josh, what happened with their censorship policy? Anyways, Josh posted, I've called out PS many times, and then Josh said, no, I'm sorry, Twisted said that. Then Josh said PS censorship policy sucks ass. Wonder if there's something that's coming up with
Dude, the
Hellblade.
return policy sucks ass,
Oh
especially
yes,
digital.
yes. I mean,
Their
yep.
customer
Always,
service sucks ass in general. Like I'm tired of their shit. Good thing I don't use it all the time.
bro. I've had to use their customer service twice, and both times was to change an email. I had to
Ugh.
change. I changed my screen name from what it was way back when I was in college, and then I had to change the email, and I did that all at the same time, and then I had to change the email one more time when I switched from AT&T over to Gmail. And outside of that, I've never had to bug them. And now they have it to where you can do all that stuff through the app, so it doesn't even matter. I never have to call them. I have never bought a game that I've had to return through them. And it's generally because I just don't buy a lot of games on day one. They changed it years ago, and a ton of games got affected by the DMC5. Had issues with a ton of Japanese games with the policy, but Sony don't admit they changed it. Interesting. Xbox is rumored to be making a similar one. It does it several times. Huh. Interesting. So supposedly Xbox is rumored to be making a similar style controller. It's going to be real good to go with the TVs and the tablets and phones that you play on, and the computer monitors and the Asus ROG Allies and all this other stuff that you get to play Game Pass on. Guys, I don't think Xbox has a damn clue what they're doing right now, to be quite frank with you. And even after everything we've talked about with Sony in the past few months, like, it seems that business just keeps going as usual at Sony, and we're getting these games coming out, and so we don't have a ton of time to sit and talk about all the negative issues and any of this other stuff. We're on to the next game, right? Xbox, they don't give you games. They give us games now, but they don't give y'all games. They give PlayStation games and Switch games, but y'all just have to sit there and suffer. So until they start giving y'all games that we can clown on, we have to talk about how they're screwing y'all over and trying to make it to where y'all aren't freeloading, um, not parasites, but that's the best word I can find. And so you have to kind of realize that if you're an Xbox person listening to this, and if you have friends who have done the dollar a month or dollar a year thing where they've stacked it and then don't pay for Game Pass, um, congratulations. You did exactly what they told you to do, and you didn't listen to anybody else. You followed your masters, and now y'all are going to pay the price. I can tell you what price you're going to pay. You're going to pay $4.99 for the PS5 regular, $3.99 for the PS5 digital. Don't worry, it comes with a game. A pretty good one. You can get Horizon, Spider-Man, or God of War. Really awesome games. Have fun with them, but that's the price that y'all are about to have to pay. And then when the Pro comes out, oh, you told them they're disabled. That's funny. When the PS5 Pro comes out, you can jump up and pay $650 for it. I mean, have a fun time, because of what your leadership told you to do, and because y'all follow these dummies so blindly, now you're in this position. So congratulations. Y'all have single-handedly, actually not single-handedly, y'all as a collective unit have destroyed the Xbox platform and the Xbox brand. And if y'all don't come in with a mid-gen refresh, Lord help. Something needs to happen. You have the specs now. You now know what Sony's doing. If you don't take this opportunity on a corporate level to say, hey, I know we said we weren't, but we could probably do better than this. And we have all their specs, and we could work on it now and get it ready to go next year. And then, boom, do they turn it around? Do you turn it around at that point?
I think with them, it's not about what they can put out or anything like that. Right now, it's about their mentality. And they're just defeated. They don't know what to do. They're in a corner. They're losing. They're going to be losing resources from Microsoft pretty soon. Firings and upper management is going to happen pretty soon. I think it's too late for them. But the first thing they got to change is that mentality and what they're in the gaming business for and what they're supposed to be doing in the gaming business because they've been doing everything but release those damn games.
And what's crazy is they have all this freaking money. Like,
Hmm.
they can throw
Money
money.
can't buy you class. That's the saying.
Money can't buy you class.
Hmm.
I've heard money can't buy love. I heard money can't buy happiness. I've never heard money can't buy class.
Yeah, money can't buy class, meaning money can't, you know, um, money can't buy you everything that Steve Jobs said is true.
Everything that Steve Jobs.
They're a succubus. They're not creative.
All that
They
shit.
steal ideas. The whole thing, everything he said.
The first 5 to 7 minutes of King Thrash's video, it's all true. It's all true.
Oh yeah, he's on there. I forgot
He
about that.
is. He's at the
All
very
true.
beginning.
And I think Steve Jobs is
Um,
like an asshole. R.I.P. Of course, but I think he was just a dickhead. But he's a creative genius, you know.
Twisted Sin says they know what they are doing, but can they do it like Mark Cerny? I think not. Yeah,
Hell
no,
no.
not at all, man. Not
Hell
at
no.
all. Okay, so let's see the final numbers on the poll. I completely forgot about it. All right, we just had one more vote, still 94-6. We will end that poll. Thanks, guys, for voting on that. Money can't buy talent. So, and I was talking to Nelson a little bit about this, and I've bounced it off of Wooly too in the past. Even if let's say you hire 400 more developers, right? That doesn't necessarily make the work easier. In some cases, it might make it harder. Like, we see what happens with games when they have overinflated budgets, overinflated people, and redundancy across the board. And then we see what happens with a game like, Helldivers, where it's a relatively smaller team, not super small, but it's a relatively smaller studio compared to an Insomniac or a Santa Monica or something like that. And it's more precise, it's more generally more creative, and generally those are the games that take the biggest risk. And so, and I'm not just talking about Helldivers, I'm talking about all of them. Kena Bridge of Spirits is a great example. Studio full of animators, didn't really ever work on video games, said, hey, it's like when you and your friends were in college and, man, what if we buy a bar? We should buy a bar. That's kind of what these guys did. They said, you know what? We're all animators. We've all worked on amazing projects. I wonder if we can make a video game. Can we make a video game? You know what? We can make a video game. And they did. And so I guess throwing money at it isn't always the answer, but actually it's usually never the answer if I'm being honest, guys. We talk that money narrative, but it really doesn't hold water when you start thinking about it, because you can throw a bunch of money at anything and it doesn't fix the problem. And that goes for every single facet of life. Money can't buy happiness, it can't buy love, it can't buy talent. Zero, you are absolutely correct. Money cannot buy talent. And Josh, you just pointed out MS's only answer is money. And that's true. That's all they know. They only know how to throw money at the problem. What was the thing that I said last year where they were acting like a child who is on a basketball court at the gym at his school and nobody wants to play with them? But the funny thing is the dad owns is the lead contributor to that school. And so now he goes and says, Dad, nobody plays with me. And Dad's like, you know what? Screw it, son. I'll buy the whole school and I'll make them play with you. It didn't really solve the problem, at least not in the way it should have been solved. All you did was throw money at it. And that's not going to make sure that the child, quote unquote, in this scenario, or the game is going to actually come out like it's supposed to. It just means you threw more money at it. It doesn't mean the
They're
gamers are
just
going to.
giving participation trophies. That's all it is. And Xbox got plenty of those. I mean, how many publisher of the year and all this other bullshit they got? The industry is also to blame for this because they've been giving Xbox participation trophies for the last 10 fucking years. Every time they can sneak one in, they do it just because, oh, if PlayStation won one, then Xbox has to too, right? Well, guess what? PlayStation and Nintendo actually earned their shit.
We have breaking news from Twisted Sin. Sorry to cut you off and break like that. Um, Breaking news: Square Enix just released a patch for Final Fantasy and RB, huh, with quality and performance updates. Oh, that's
Let's
gonna
see.
be cool. Hey, we're still waiting on. Somebody said Redfall. We're still waiting on Redfall to give a quality update. The problem is you can't fix that game, and that's we should be hearing so much stuff about Forza and the tracks and the modes and all of this stuff. We should be hearing things about Halo Infinite going into its seventh season or whatever the hell it should be on by this point. We should be hearing about these things, and instead, all we're
Oh, there it
hearing
is. It's downloading now.
Oh,
It is 5 gigs, 5.7 gigs big.
5.7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
It is version 1.020.
All right, well, we're gonna lose the stream just gonna lose the picture just for a second because I'm gonna check for update. See, and I was just talking to their asses or talking about them earlier.
Isn't Square Enix dropping Final Fantasy 15 on Xbox, or did it drop already?
I
What's
think
the
it's
conversation around that?
I think it's been on Xbox. 15 has.
The MMO? I thought it was
No,
the
14, 14, 14,
14. I
14.
mean,
Um, okay, it is calculating 15 minutes. Sweet. Okay, sorry about the audio delay there, guys. I had to get that going because after this, I'm playing that. Um, so makes me kind of happy that I haven't beat the game yet. And oh, they said they couldn't hear you. Oh, my bad. That was my fault. He'll be back.
I'm
Um,
right here.
yeah, well, it's because I backed out of the game and I went to a different on the audio for everybody else.
Oh,
That's my fault.
okay. What's
Uh,
that thing called? When they imposter syndrome? Not that you explained the Xbox,
oh,
the
Stockholm
whatever
syndrome.
syndrome.
It's
Oh,
basically what
that's
it
you with Square
is.
Enix. You literally cut me off for Square Enix. If you like them
Yes.
so much, why don't you just marry them?
Listen, I'd marry some of their characters if I wasn't already married.
I mean, Tifa, man.
I
Anyways,
mean,
that's yeah.
Tifa,
I'm
Aerith.
actually gonna play the game. I got
Oh
like
my
2
god.
hours into it.
Dude, and you waited also. And so that's really cool. Uh, I'm excited. But, anyways, do you remember what you were saying before that? And that wasn't really my fault. That was Twisted Sync in here. Like,
Yeah, okay, Xbox is
he
PlayStation's fault.
he knew what he did when he dropped that. He,
Oh, thanks for that, Twisted. No, I was just saying that for the MMO, Josh said it or put something up here. Did it come out? Yeah, just launched. Final Fantasy 14 just launched, and they haven't been saying anything about it. Nothing. But yet they want these exclusives, and how since Xbox went third party, now everybody should go third party. But yet they're getting one of the most successful Final Fantasy games, and nobody is saying anything. Why? Because these guys aren't gamers, dude. They're freaking
well, and did you hear what happened? Like Microsoft makes you jump through two extra hoops just to get like
oh, you gotta
the
pay for
the subscription.
Game Pass, yeah, or whatever. You gotta pay for Game Pass and the MMO subscription. But they are giving you whatever free from Final Fantasy for I think a month or something. You get some perks that are part of your Game Pass plan. But yeah, you just got to pay for Game Pass, and of course the MMO is a subscription based game, so they got to pay for that too. It's basically the same conversation we had with Helldivers. Is PC don't have to pay for PS Plus, but yeah, console gamers got to pay for PS Plus in order to play the game online, even though it's an always online game. So it's just happening to them, which I talk shit about. I obviously think that's wrong, and PlayStation shouldn't be charging us for an always online game. It should be included with the purchase of the always online game.
Well, and I think all of the free to play ones are. Like I don't think that you have like any of them that are free to play, I don't think you have to.
Yeah, some
But
are, but not all, especially exclusives.
oh no, I was gonna say, but I fully agree that if it's an always online game and there's no other option, then there should be no requirement for PS Plus. Speaking of that, guys, just to show how much of a PlayStation shill I am not, and how much I disagree with some of the stuff they do, I actually canceled my PlayStation Plus premium tier, and I am, as of April 4th, I will be going back down to just the essential tier. And main reason why is because I don't want to be a gamer that just relies on a subservice. And honestly, taking that extra $80 a year, I can buy a freaking $70 game with that. I can buy two $40 games. Hell, I can put that money back into the channel and use it to do reviews on games that I find physical on sale. I'm also trying to rebuild my physical collection, And so because of that, I'll be taking some of that money and putting that towards finding some older games that I had physically uh, that I had physically bought digitally on sale, traded back into physical copy, which is generally one of the avenues I took for it. Uh, but like I'm done with premium. There's no point in having it. You can only play one game at a time, and I only have 8 to 10 hours a week that I get to game anyways. So if you're in that position, really look at what you have and really look at the last, say, even 10 games that you've played. How many of those were on PS Plus, Essential, or Extra or Premium? And how many of those were games that you actually purchased? I bet that if you do it, you'll realize, like I did, that the last 10 games I played, I paid for 7 of them. And one of them came in PS Plus Essential. So, like, there's literally no point I am giving them money when I don't have to. And so, just wanted to say, like, just throw that out there. Not saying y'all have to. If y'all want to keep doing it, I don't really give a shit what you do with your money. But at the end of the day, this is the Thrifty channel, and I will always let y'all know where I spend my money on gaming. I'm not a subscription gamer. I'm not either, Hero. And honestly, watching you do some of the stuff that you're doing has really kind of, between you and Will and I think RPG 88 is also rebuilding his physical collection. And so, like, I'm talking about getting games like Resident Evil 2 for $5 from Amazon or GameStop. Just starting to find all these older games that I've either played or wanted to play, and I would have normally bought them digitally. Well, now I'm just going to go straight physical. I bought Helldivers physical, to which somebody in my comments on X was like, "That's pretty pointless. It's an online only game. Why not just buy digital?" Because I want the damn
You
physical
could still
copy.
trade it in. You could still trade Helldivers in and get some money for it. So it's not pointless.
It's not. And I don't plan on trading it in. Yes, I suck at the game. If you want proof, go watch Jez's live stream from last night. You will see proof at how bad I suck. Now, also to be fair, I was way under leveled for where we were. So they started sending out bugs with shields and shit. And that's not that's not that's not me yet. Like none of my bugs have shield. I can kill every single one with my assault rifle. I don't need shields on bugs. But there were shields on bugs, and funny enough, when they were extracting and trying to get into the plane, I was literally smoldering on fire. Like that's how bad it had gotten. Uh, now there is performance sharp and smooth. Oh god, I can't wait. Okay, so speaking of not being able to wait, we've bashed on Xbox. We've done that thing. It was fun. I felt like we had some fresh stuff to say there. We talked about Horizon. We've talked about the Game Pass thing. We talked about Rise of Ronin. Uh, Dragon's Dogma 2. So I'm going to lay my cards on the table with this one. I was never compelled to play Dragon's Dogma 1. I tried it for a very brief moment and just couldn't get past the way it looked. It looked old. And so with Dragon's Dogma 2, and I know Wooly, if he watches this afterwards, he's gonna fly his ass over here to America and kick me in the shins. I just know it because this is like this dude's game, but it just doesn't speak to me. And I'm hearing folks, everybody I watch, everybody who I trust has been saying how amazing the game is and how wonderful it is. You know, Asmongold has gushed about the game for the past 2 weeks. You have Dreamcast guy who did a review on it today that I haven't watched because I'm pretty sure it's going to say the same damn thing that everybody else is saying. Uh, the game seems to be attracting a wonderful base, and that's awesome. But I just don't see myself getting it day one to play it day one. And I have to make that distinction because Will probably get it day one, but I don't know if he's going to play it day one. So, Will, as our last topic, what do you think of Dragon's Dogma, man? Is it? Does it appeal to you, or is Rise of Ronin gonna be more of like what you want?
No, Dragon's Dogma is. I mean, that's the one I got pre-ordered. That's
Okay,
the
okay.
one that I'm looking forward to. That's the one where for the last, I don't know, couple months is the one that I've been like killing time waiting for.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, I'm really excited for Dragon's Dogma. Um, like I've always said in my podcast, in the podcast, is I'm a visuals guy. If it's got 60, cool. I'll play that my second go around, but I want to take that visual goodness. Now, Dragon's Dogma isn't quite that, but what it is a lot of shit going on at the same time. Big ass open world. So, for example, one of the quests that's on there, just to kind of give an example of the direction this game is going in, it's going to be insane, is there's going to be a quest where you have to find somebody and there won't be no marker. There won't be no nothing pointing you to where you should look. It's all gonna be determined based on the conversations you've had, on the relationships you've had, how people react to this person you got to look for, just like real life. You have to like really look around and and you know dot your I's, cross your T's to find this person.
That
Now, some
sounds
people
like
are
a
going to hate that,
terrible
complete that.
experience.
Yeah,
That
some people will
sounds
hate that because
awful.
some people like thrifty want hand holding. They want to be told exactly what to do, when to do it, and that's okay too.
No, I
I
just want
like that as
direction. I just
well.
want to be known some sort of marker. I think so. You and I, when we played Remnant 2, and when I've played Helldivers, the two things that, or the same thing rather, from those two games that bother me the most is on the mini map, I can't see incoming enemies. And it throws me off so much. I don't need help in the fight. I don't need help in the battles. I don't need help with the combat system, the mechanics. I just need to know some semblance of what direction I'm supposed to freaking go. And
But
once I
remember,
get that,
thrifty,
I can do everything else. I can.
you're coming. You're coming at this. See, the way that I'm coming. Let me say how I'm coming at it. I'm coming at this. I'm planning on living in this world. This isn't a game that I'm just playing to beat. This is a game that I want to experience.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's attractive to me. Now, let's say they added those same features to I don't fucking know.
Rebirth. Take it in Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yep, they take the paint
I
off
wouldn't
the.
put up with it.
They take
I wouldn't put
right,
up with it. I would not.
but
So
it's
it
for
depends
different
on the
reasons because you
game.
just want to beat that game. You don't want to live
Yeah,
in
I
that
don't. Yeah,
world.
exactly. Exactly. I want to enjoy the
Okay.
story.
I
I want to
mean,
enjoy the gameplay, and move on. But with this is different.
I guess I disagree a little. Like,
It's just like Horizon. Like
but
Horizon, the
Horizon
way
makes
that
it to where you can do that.
well, I'm about to tell you how I play Horizon is I turn everything off.
Sure.
And Horizon, even if, so for example, Horizon will give you an idea of where something is, but unless you get close to it, then it won't pop up in your map. So there's different levels to how they things are done differently. Now, mind you, Dragon's Dogma was a sequel for the guys that have been waiting for this game. They've been waiting on it. So a lot of people are gonna they're looking forward to something like this because they want to live in it. Just like Wooly with Death Stranding.
Oh,
He's gonna want to live in that game, so he doesn't mind going through his notes, going through all the information, maybe double checking. And look, there will be some hand holding. So for example, if you just want hint, then they're gonna have like a merchant kind of an information kind of dealer where you go, you pay X amount of money. I heard it's 2,000 or 2,500 coins, gold coins or something, and he will give you the hint. And then you can go find it that way. So you can do it that way too, right? You can get your money, go, travel to wherever this information dealer is. He'll give you the hint, and you can find it that way. So, but it gives you the option on how you want to play it. Where some games or a lot of games, they say, well, this is how you should play it, and this is how we want you to play it, and they'll really like remake, Final Fantasy remake. It was very like these are the things you do. This is where you go. Yeah, it feels kind of open world, but it's more of a linear open world, and that's it. There really is no creative, the way that you can play. It's you play how they want you to play. And that's fine, right? But that's when I really love something, I want the freedom to really explore it how I want to and play the game how I want to. Because some people are, and they've done this with Rebirth, right? How many people have already beat the game in a week? They put in 20, 30 hours and they beat it already. Why? Because they're just going through the main quest. They're just going through it as fast as they can just to get it done with, right? Just to be the one to say, I beat it. It's just that's why I don't put stock in these reviewers, going back to what we talked about in the beginning, because these reviewers, to me, you should be able to review the game once you beat it, once you've done all the side quests. Shit, sometimes when you even do the collectibles, if they're worth collecting, because that's how you get the full picture of everything the developer intended to make. Now, look, I don't recommend a review like that for like Assassin's Creed. Absolutely not, because that game is just busy work, right? Grind fest. Something like that, absolutely not. But something like Dragon's Dogma, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's honestly, Josh said it took him 80 hours to do Rebirth. That dude, okay, so I don't feel so bad then because I'm about halfway through the game and I'm at about 37, 38 hours right now. And I am playing it the way you're talking about playing Dragon's Dogma. I am
Hmm.
checking every rock, I am checking every scenery. I've taken so many photos in this game, it's unreal. Like, I have taken videos. I am I am just living in it because and so I get that. But also at the end of the day when I'm done appreciating the world in that moment, I want to be able to pop all that shit back on my screen and go, "Cool, let's go do some work." And
Hmm.
I think
And
that
that mission I
games
was talking about, it's a side quest. So it's not a main quest thing, mind you, too. So you can stream through the game if you want to as well.
well, and I'll tell you this, there's some quests and here's the thing that I think this all boils down to. It's the problem that I have with Souls games, and it's the problem with that I have with a lot of games. Give the gamer the option. That's all I ask. If even if all it is like in those old school PS1 games where the navigation quote unquote system was nothing more than an arrow that was like at the top or bottom or left or right of the
Mm, yeah.
screen, like that's all you had. You didn't know where else you were going. So it gave you a sense of hell, I'm lost. I know I'm supposed to go that way somewhere, but I don't quite know what I'm supposed to do with that information except let's start walking, let's start climbing over things, let's start exploring. That's honestly one of the things that's hard about for me playing a dedicated looter shooter game, Helldivers 2, for example, is I want to explore every little nook and cranny and spot on the map because I want to grab everything because I am a hopeless RPG player from a long time ago back in the day where if you didn't explore everything, you would miss that item that was in a trash can that you missed on the second level of the cruise ship. And that's a Pokemon reference for anybody who's wondering. But like, I was trained on that. If you saw a staircase down a hall and your objective was on the other side of the map, dude, you knew that you had to go up that staircase because there was a chest up there with 100 gil in it. And if you didn't get that 100 gil, damn it, then you didn't have 100 gil. So, like, there was really no consequence. But it's just, I want to collect everything. And so a mini map or a big map or some kind of navigation system helps you do that. So let people turn it off. Let people turn it on. I've played Horizon Forbidden West with no HUD on, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I was playing a water section, and I just wanted to see how well they did with it. And then I went back and I turned everything right back on so I could start doing some of the quest lines again. Like, just give
And
us the option.
remember, Thrifty, there is some 10-year-old kid out there somewhere that was in the same shoes that I was when I was a kid, or maybe even like an adult, maybe a family man where he's the only income and, wife and kids or wife, and husband, whatever. And this is his one game. And this is the
Mm.
one game he can afford. And guess what? He'll be able to get his $70 worth. He'll be able to play this thing for the rest of the year or till whenever he can, or that little kid where his parents can only get him one for his birthday and Christmas, and he'll be able
Mm-hmm.
to explore that world, find shit, and really, really get his money worth. But imagine that kid who can only get the one game playing a game like I don't know, like Pentiment, right? He's fucked. Or one of these like Hellblade, right? The first one was only like 8 9 hours long.
Yeah.
That's it.
He gets it on a weekend, on a Friday night. Let's say his report card came in, did
Yeah,
so good at the end of the year. He did great on his standardized test. Mom and dad say, you know what? We've been saving up for this. We're going to go buy you the latest and greatest game. And this happened. And it was like at the end of January or at the end of December for the first semester. And they were like, great,
yeah,
hi fi rush. We're going to get that for you.
yeah,
Then he's like, wait, the
yeah,
game's over in 6 hours. What?
yeah,
What do you, this is it?
yeah,
I'm done with it by lunchtime on Saturday. What do you? Because whenever I got a new game, I stayed up all night and played it, and I'd
yeah,
usually go to
yeah.
sleep at lunch the next day.
So the only other option is, okay, I beat the game. Now let me beat it in the next difficulty, or let me try to get all the achievements or all the platinum. Let me try to get the platinum, and you're trying to milk that game, or maybe
Yup.
the wife taps you on the shoulder and say, "Babe, we got the extra $70 this month." You're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Fuck yeah," So there's a lot of different situations.
That's
So
how I got
you know,
Helldivers.
yes, yeah, 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 happened to you. Yeah, so that's
It
one of the
did.
complaints. So when we talk about, for example, like Spider-Man, it was a little bit disappointing because I was able to finish the game, find every single collectible, got the platinum in
Mm.
40 some hours. And that was a little disappointing for me, more because I really love, Insomniac and how they make their games and they're just good quality. So for it to go that fast, it's like, damn, it's a little disappointing, but
Yeah,
it
and
is
that's
what it
something
is.
that we had talked about a little bit more because you and I kind of co-opt, but not co-opt, played
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2, and that was one of the things that you and I both talked about, which is funny because we both have different perspectives on it. But
And
even
we
I
both slow
was
down.
like,
Remember that? We're like, I'm gonna slow down a little bit.
yeah, because even you and I were like, dude, this game has made this. They could have done things to make it harder to get some of the trophies and still not
Yeah,
make them ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
I even remember the first one that had, it felt like it had more to do in the sections, like in the different boroughs, than this one did. But it felt like the story for this one, I feel was more well done than it
Mm-hmm.
was in the first one. But the gameplay aspects were a little lacking from the first. I don't know. It's a balance. But
It
so
is.
somebody was asking earlier what they fixed in the patch. And before we go, I have the notes right here. Awesome Noisy Pixel was on top of it. So it fixed some additional concerns, typos, added corrections to certain text, fixed a bug that occurred under the certain condition of the map when controlling a character. So that means it's probably one of the hidden characters. I haven't got there yet. Um, Fixed an issue when certain abilities by Red 13 could easily be canceled during battle. That actually happened to me a couple times. I thought it was just his combat style, to be honest. Fixed a bug that caused enemies to abruptly stop under certain conditions. I never had that. Anyways, let's get down to the one that actually matters. Improved frame rate and overall game stability. Added sharp and soft options to performance mode settings and improved graphical quality. That's all I asked. That's it. I'm happy. Oh, and they added difficulty settings for a couple in the mini games and in the Mithril Mines at the very beginning of the game. Well, not the very beginning, but about 5 hours in. For me, for Josh, 2 hours in. Um, but early on in the game, you have to go to this mine and you have to find your way out. And I swear to goodness, Will, I would have loved to have you played this section and then tell me it's bad to have certain help finders on a map or to have certain things because it took me literally an hour to find the damn exit out of this
Oh, I
place.
didn't say it was bad, bro. I just said that, yeah, it's
It took me
preference.
forever. So, anyways, guys, those are the patch notes. Found out some pretty cool stuff I could do on the back end of YouTube on the computer while I'm streaming. So that's actually really cool. I'm going to try to get some stuff lined out for that. Um, That way I can start having the thumbnail actually on the live stream as soon as it starts up, as soon as I share it out. There's a few other things I can do. I can do some back end work like with the tags and stuff in the video. And so, yeah, just found that out. Anyways, guys, thank y'all for stopping by. Will, I know you say it every time, but where can these fine folks find you?
You guys can find me on X at Will777JP and PlayStation Will777JP.
Will777JP.
Oh, by
Uh,
the way, people have been asking me what does JP stands for. It stands for just playing.
oh, okay, okay. I thought it was like Joseph Paul or something. I thought it was initials
Oh no,
for like your name. I know it's initials, but
my name is Will, bro.
I didn't know if it was like dad, relative, brother. I didn't know if your middle name was Joshua and your last name was Phillips. I have no idea. And
Hey,
so,
you're Philip.
sometimes, sometimes, when I'm streaming, I'm thrifty, but sometimes I'm Philip. But anyways, guys, we have taken your time. Oh no,
Hey, you disappeared there.
I disappeared. Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, cool. So, anyways, guys, my headset literally like fell off, and anyways, I'm pacing. There was somebody who watched one of my videos and goes, "Man, it sounds like you were out of breath." When I talk, when I do videos, when I'm in a train of thought, it helps if I get up and walk around. So I pace, and because I'm a faceless channel, I can do that. If I ever decide to go with a face front or a front facing channel, then that's going to be interesting because I
Face
can't
down, ass up.
face down. Pause. Phil Spencer on him. So we call that the Phil Spencer.
Get your ass crack tatted.
Oh my god. All right, guys, go enjoy some games, enjoy some Final Fantasy, enjoy some Helldivers 2, get ready for Rise of Ronin, for Dragon's Dogma. Just enjoy gaming, whether you find it on a budget or you buy it at $70 when the game releases, or if you buy collector's editions. Just enjoy gaming, guys. We are
And real
here
quick,
for
Thrifty,
gaming.
before we head out, if you guys, I work this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to get the gaming that I wanted. But if you like Dragon's Dogma, or if you like Rise of Ronin, or hey, Princess Peach, hit me up. Let me know what you like about it, what to expect, because I'm gonna be living vicariously through you guys who'll be able to play, because I'll be working a lot. So please hit me up on there or on PlayStation. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you guys think of the game.
Sadly, I will be working as well. Um, Hopefully, it's not that busy of a weekend for me. But yeah, guys, I don't know if Will, if you're still playing Helldivers 2 or not, uh, but I am. So if you want to add me, it's thriftyps_gr, and we can kill some bugs together. I usually play 1 to 2 nights a week with it, just for about an hour at a time. And yeah, y'all can add me on there. Other than that, I'm gonna get off here because I want to play some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And y'all have a wonderful night. And as always,